Talk About This podcast. Look, we have on the couch tonight, Maureen McCarthy.
First female guest.
Wow. Hello, Maureen. How are you?
Thank you. Good. I'm doing great.
Yeah, appreciate you coming down. I know you took a little bit of a ride to come down here. Probably a longer ride than some of our guests that live local. So I appreciate you coming down on a Monday night. I know probably got a full-time job like everybody else. You're making time for us, so I appreciate it. Looking forward to getting into it tonight.
If you all notice, we got new couches.
Yeah. First one to sit on the new couch.
Which we'll angle up soon, so
yeah, we'll work on that.
Cranking our necks. Mm-hmm. And we finally have a leg reveal. Hello.
Yep. At least my legs are kind of cool looking. They got tattoos and stuff, tats. But, my legs are also skinny like sticks. I look like Skeletor.
Yeah.
If you had
At least you got hair on your legs. Mine are pretty bald from dress socks.
Well, mine are kind of doing the same thing. I'm going to have bald women legs before you know it.
Oh, man.
We'll send you guys a subscription to Venus Ladies Razors.
Right.
All right.
So let's just get right into it, Maureen. So I wanted to, I always like to ask, first off, kind of get the ground running. How did you get into comedy? And why'd you choose to do comedy? Want to give us a little bit of background on that?
All right. So
just do me a favor, Maureen. Just bring the mic up. There you go.
I had some friends that that were like saying, "Oh, you tell a lot of funny stories. You should try doing comedy." And so I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna try it." So like one night when I was living in Quincy, I went by myself to this little bar. It's called Maggie's Lounge, and I got there, and the woman's like, "Now, have you ever done comedy?" And I said, "No." And she's like, "Don't say any swears and don't do this." And she gave me this huge list of things not to say. And then she got up and said like a million F-bombs. And I'm like, oh my God. But I think I did pretty good that night. I was a little nervous and I didn't even know what I was going to talk about. And then after that night, I thought, you know what? I should take a class. So I Googled. I was working in Boston at the time, and I Googled and I found out that Laugh Boston was actually having a class, and Tony V, a very famous comedian, he was going to run it. So I started taking classes there, and I met 12 people, and they taught you how to, stand in front of the mic, introduce people, stand in front of the light, project your voice, what not to say, what to say. Don't talk too much about politics. Don't use the F-bomb. Because we know you can turn that politics on any night of the week on TV. So it was really fun, a very fun class. One thing I definitely learned from that is that you really do need to go to a lot of open mics to get your feet on the ground. The class really doesn't teach you how to write. So I think that really comes with, a lot of practice, and you can always take another writing class, but also collaborating with other people.
Good point.
Sounds similar to how we got into it.
Yeah, with the
started the class, right? And there was a lot of ground rules that were good rules to follow, but as we got exposed, ended up being kind of straight bullshit. A little bit. I was like, okay. So I got out there in the real world, and I was like, oh, okay. Everything they said, fucking turn it around, the 180.
Well, I guess it depends, too, like, where you're headed, like, in comedy, like, what you want to do,
maybe not straight bullshit. You know what I mean?
Well, I definitely think, Maureen, probably, you mentioned, like, oh, yeah, like, don't, like, pretty much be clean, right? They were saying, like, be clean, don't bring in politics. Which, or like you said, like be clean. You went to the class and they started saying some things, right, that weren't so clean. Is that pretty much what it was?
I mean, you gotta throw in some spiciness.
Yeah,
in there,
I just thought that was funny because there's been times that I'm like, I'm doing a PG set and then I go and then it's actually people just saying, oh, all this inappropriate stuff. And I just find it funny because I think you just can't gauge it until you get there, and that's when they decide if it's going to be clean or dirty. You know what I mean? But it's always good to have clean in your back pocket.
Define clean, I guess, in that case, because like you said, it'll be all the dirty stuff sans the F word.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can talk about, whatever, just as long as you don't drop an F or a C bomb.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of like a different topic, too. We could talk about, Maureen. It's like clean and dirty comedy. It's like, because you took a class that taught you how to be clean. Do you have like an opinion on dirty or clean comedy or anything like that?
I guess I think it depends on your audience, but I also think if some people are so dirty, personally, maybe I wouldn't like it, and I try not to go that dirty. Like there's some female comedians, when they start talking, I almost cringe, and I've watched the audience cringe.
Oh, really?
But that also gets them their popularity.
Yep.
I think it's just a personal choice, too, and how you want to write it. And how you want it to come off, if you want to be really dirty or not. I mean, I don't necessarily think you have to be really dirty to be really funny.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I think there's a lot of good clean comics out there, you know what I mean? And a lot of good classic comedians that were clean. But there's also some other ones that are like really dirty and actually pretty funny. But I kind of agree. I think it's too, if it's just repeated, raunchiness, it kind of, in my opinion, it gets old and like I don't want, like I get kind of sounds like redundant to me, but at the same time, to each their own. I think it's a preference as well. I'm not bashing when it does strictly dirty comedy. I think it's good to have a mix of everything though, my personal judgment.
Just depends how dirty.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not as dirty as I thought I was, because there's some crazy shit that people say out there
Yes, true.
that I don't think I would say.
Even in open mics, it gets like out of control. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
If that couldn't be on a show, maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen some crazy, wild things said at comedy shows. I was like, oh my God. We went to, was it Pub on Park for the showcase, and there was a woman comedian, Stephanie Peters, and oh my God, I thought, in my opinion, I've heard it all. This lady was hysterical, but she said some crazy, raunchy shit, and it just blew me away. I was like, wow, this is some stuff I never thought I would see or hear, and it was really funny. You know what I mean? But, I guess it all
know
depends.
what you mean.
I say that he's going to do a montage where I say, you know what I mean, a million times. I say
you know what I
about
mean?
100 times in each podcast episode. So
Take a no mean census.
yeah, yeah, it's a disregard. But
I'll just tease you.
yeah. So did you start doing comedy in Massachusetts? Did you
Yes.
start out in the comedy scene over there?
Yeah, so after I like Tony V's class, I took 3 or 4 classes, so you keep progressing. And then like they have like a graduation show where you get to do 5 minutes at Capo, and so we had a couple of graduation shows at Capo, and I also got 5 minutes at Nick's Comedy Stop.
Nice.
And then once COVID hit, that kind of killed my whole. I was moving up, and then
Yep.
COVID, all the mics got shut down. But then I started back once COVID. Everybody started opening the mics back. Then I actually met Allison Diane. She had Diane for Laughs at an open mic down in Kingston. And then she started having me do stuff for her. I got in a couple of shows. And then I met the people from Rhode Island, John Parada, Steve DiNuccio. And I started working with them, doing the hosting. And I actually really enjoy hosting. It's fun.
It is fun.
It is fun.
It is fun. I think you do a great job. I think John and Steve helped us out by giving Rob a couple hosting spots. I have to look at the calendar, but we got some coming up. And I remember I did my first hosting gig at Blue Moon, and you were there giving me some pointers, and I was fucking nervous. I came in, I was nervous as hell. I'm not going to lie. I'm looking forward to doing it again. I only did one time, but I'm looking forward to doing it. It was scared the shit out of me. You know what I mean? So, but...
Yeah, it definitely can be scary, and it's definitely like you have to learn how to, it's kind of like timing. You want to give each comic their time, but also give them a nice warm welcome up there. And even if you're like horrified at what they're going to say, it's kind of funny just to be like, okay, here comes the next comic. Even though they're going to peel the paint off the ceiling. So I really enjoy it, though, because I feel like there's a nice camaraderie amongst these comedians in Rhode Island, and they all try to help each other. It doesn't feel like a competition, which I really like.
Yeah, no animosity.
Yeah.
Everyone's all supporting each other.
Definitely.
That's funny you say in Rhode Island. Do you find competition in Mass?
I mean, I don't know if it's competition, just different. It's just two different places. Like, I feel like Boston, each mic there, everybody, there's some mics there that people cheer each other on, but I don't know, in Rhode Island, I just felt the love. I feel like everybody in that Blue Moon pub is trying to help each other.
Yep.
They might tell you, oh, that was a good one, or just, it's nice to have good feedback from other comics.
Some real honest feedback, you
Yes.
think? Yeah. Yeah. And hey, we're friends. We know everybody else over there. It's a good time. Plugging Blue Moon a lot on the podcast, but it's a good spot. And we started doing comedy at Touch Lounge.
Touch
you know what I mean? Then we
That was
moved over
really
to
fun.
Blue Moon. You know what I mean? Now
Yeah,
we're
we
doing a
know what you mean.
podcast together.
Touch loud.
I'm waiting on that montage for me and my. You know what I mean? I do that a lot at work too. I'll be talking to clients. I'm like, you know what I mean? You know what I
You
mean?
know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe I don't know what it is,
I don't know.
but
A lot of people say that, though.
yeah. I sound stupid, but whatever. Now there you go. We'll have like no episode for 1 week, and it'll just be a stupid montage. You know what I mean?
You can blend them all together. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
But yeah. So I think that's cool. You know, like Rob was saying, like, do you see a difference in comedy versus in Mass versus Rhode Island?
Well, let's back up a little bit. So, do you live in Boston?
I live in a town called Berkeley, Mass, but I am from Massachusetts. Yes.
Berkeley. I'm just trying to get my head around. So, the last time I was in Boston, I was like, God, shit. What was it called? The long something garage. Picture like 15-minute walk from like Lansdowne.
Oh yeah.
Like, are you like downtown over there?
No, I'm actually more like where I work is more the city. That's the seaport, and that's where that left.
Oh wow!
Boston
So
is.
you work in the Seaport District.
Yes, but
that's
I
cool.
actually
Okay.
get to work from home now.
Nice.
But,
Nice.
But then when I was going into work, and I would take the class at LAF, and I lived, I had an apartment in Quincy before,
Oh, nice. Okay.
and so I was like kind of in the center of the city, and now I live out here, and so I'm really closer now to Rhode Island than I am. I'm probably in the middle of
Cool.
Boston and Quincy, so. But the Boston scene is definitely a little bit different. I feel like the clubs are a little bit different. It seems like a little bit, not more professional, but it's just arranged differently.
Yeah.
And I do feel like the same people book the same, but you never know, you know? Someone could see you and book you on another show. It's fun.
Yeah.
I definitely was judged by some Boston comedians. We, like had auditions where we would go on the stage and have 4, headlining comics watch us at the class and then
Really?
give us advice and tell us, what we were doing right or wrong. So I think you start to like lose the nervousness about trying to do comedy with stuff like that,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point. So, do you still go to any open mics in Mass, or have you performed in Mass recently?
I did some things. So John Prada's group had some
Yep.
in Raynham, Mass. We did it we had a show at a Asian bar, and that was really fun. An Asian restaurant.
Nice.
And then I also I got to host a couple of things there,
Nice.
and I do go to sometimes I go to the Quincy one. There's a Cagney's pub that's in Quincy. That's a really great open mic, and that's
Yeah.
not that far, but there's not as many as Rhode Island. It feels like,
Yeah.
John Prada has 3 a week, and it's busy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's got a big following, so it's great. He's got a lot of comedians.
Yeah.
He's got a good mix of men and women too, so it's not.
Yeah. That's
Truth.
important. That's important.
Yeah.
I think you get a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you get a woman's point of view with comedy, and it's kind of funny because I forget who it was. It was a woman comic, but she was doing her thing, and I found I wasn't laughing so much, but my wife was, and she's like,
Oh, boy.
she's like, oh, I'm kind of not. It had nothing to do. It was. She was like, well, you'd have to be like a woman to kind of understand this one. I'm like, really? She goes, this is funny as shit. I was like, all right, and all the ladies loved it. You know what I mean? And then of course she dropped the stuff that my puny male brain could actually understand, but but stuff like that. So I feel like the women in the audience like to connect with someone up on stage as well because you identify with. I think you identify easier that way.
Yeah.
now.
That's true.
Because could we be honest for a minute? If you're a guy, obviously, and all these guy comics, if they're talking about dirty stuff, I was having sex with this woman, oh, my balls, my penis is so big, and I like to go down on all the guys yeah, that's funny, because they can,
exactly.
in a way they can relate, you know what I mean? Whereas a female, you can't relate because you're, obviously. So I feel like if a woman's out there, talking, telling jokes about, oh, I did this to a man, and I feel like maybe some guys be like, oh, I don't want to hear that. But it's like, you got to listen to the guys say it. You
I
got to
still
listen
think
to the
it's
girls
funny,
say it.
but I found my wife laughing laughing harder than I was, and I was like, huh.
Yeah.
So it was kind
Because
of
they
cool
can
to
relate.
see.
They make a period joke, the woman's going to laugh because they know the struggle and they know the things that they're going through.
Yeah.
Women's experiences versus, a guy with his
Well,
big dong
it's all
in
the
the locker
life
room.
point of view, right? It's that angle that they're coming in. It's different. So.
That's like if I go to these open mics in Rhode Island, it's 25 guys and me, and I have to listen to penis jokes all night. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, you're like, wow.
Oh, shit.
I gotta throw in a couple of boob jokes or something.
There you
Right?
go.
I've heard those jokes.
Yep.
So, it can be kind of crazy listening to all that guy talk the whole night, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It makes it adventurous. It takes me away from my desk.
Yeah. So that'll be my next kind of question too. It's like, so what's it like being a woman in comedy? And it's obviously I'm not saying this is true, but I feel like in a way I've seen a lot of men do it versus women. So I don't know if it's a male dominated thing, but like I definitely feel like I see a lot more guys doing it, especially because I go up on mics. So I like to, especially having a woman on the podcast. What's it like being a woman in that area and just like in comedy in general?
I definitely think it's always been a challenge for women. Even that Marvelous Miss Maisel show, and then thinking of like some of the women that try to do comedy, and they, it's definitely different because I think a lot of the crowd takes men more seriously. And also sometimes you go to a show and it's more men in the crowd laughing at the other men. But I think it's fun. I love watching other women. I think it's inspiring. I definitely like it. I'm not afraid to get up there, so I think that's like half the battle. A lot of people are like, wow, you can get on stage and talk and you're not afraid. Yep. But it's having like funny things to say, but also sometimes like what you just were saying, like if I tell all women jokes, then the guys aren't going to laugh. So I have to tell jokes that are going to get both sexes. But being a woman in comedy, it's definitely a challenge. I would like to be booked more on shows and more, I think that shows should have more women on them and give more opportunities. Yeah. And that's what I would like to see.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Because I think even when people pay tickets, they're buying a ticket to a comedy show, they'd like to see a mix of men and women. And it brings like a different aspect to the show too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there's some funny women out there, just as, funny men out there too. And like, I think it's all kind of give the crowd a little bit of perspective on everything. There's a lot of men and women in the crowd. If I'm a woman, I don't want to just listen to a guy talk about his dong and going down on women all the time. After a while,
yeah, know what I mean?
Yeah, his dong. Hey, every time I do it, drink. Take a sip of your drink.
Oh god, yeah! Don't do that. You'll be in the hospital in 20 minutes. Thanks.
Look, you're about to brush your teeth over there. You get to fucking smell the penis off your breath.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
This is what we do. We went off the mic. We bust each other's chops. Growing up with two other brothers, I feel like, wow, man, I know how to bust balls. Man, I'll be good at comedy. I don't know if it's really working for me, but hey, whatever.
Yeah,
Gives you thick skin. You know what I mean?
That's what the big takeaway.
Mm-hmm. You guys are doing great.
Take those L's like a champ, dude.
Mm-hmm. I think.
Me too.
I think taking an L and just in general too, like kind of, I'll kind of carry with that. It's like, maybe you can agree, Maureen. It's like when you're doing an open mic, and if you just get no laughs, and I'm sure it's happened to you. It's happened to. I feel like it happens to everybody. Has ever happened, and you just thought like, wow, like how do you react to it? Do you think it's important to have a set where you don't get a reaction because it kind of makes you like a better comic in a way? I feel like that's true, but I don't know. Maybe what do you think about that?
I definitely think that's a huge challenge, especially when you go to these open mics, because it might be the same 25 comedians that go up every week, and if you tell your same jokes every week, they're not even laughing at you. Yep. So if it's a live crowd, you obviously would get a laugh, but I do think it's a good challenge to stay up there, and it shows that you have you can challenge yourself to stay up there and keep telling you jokes even if no one's laughing. I think that's a big challenge. That's really great if you can do it and not take it personally.
Yep. Yeah, I can't take it personally. I think...
Have you ever taken it personally? It's a serious question. I have.
I think I did once.
Insulted, maybe.
I mean,
it's more
maybe
like,
not personally.
damn, did you beat yourself up over it?
Yeah. Maybe not personally, these people hate me, but
yes.
I definitely want to, I don't know.
Crawl inside of a hole?
Just, throw in the towel. Just I'm good.
Yeah.
But some nights you have a good night, other nights you have a bad. Not every night's going to be the best, but it's a good practice, even if you have a bomb night.
Yeah.
What if every night is a bad night?
I know. Then you have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe
just asking for a friend. I mean, I don't know.
Some friends. Should I still do this?
No. Rob swears he's like, I had a bad mic, but at the same time, it happens to everybody. You know what I mean? And I think people that say, I never had a bad mic, could be lying to themselves in a way, because it's like, I don't know, I just feel like it's just bound to happen, depending on how long you've been doing comedy. You know what I mean? Even people that are just naturally
We know what you
funny.
mean. And, of course, I mean, it's just part of it, right?
I'm doing it again.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're going to say it together. You know what I mean?
He's going to pull me outside after the podcast and be like, dude, what the fuck?
I'm going to kick you in the balls.
Just kidding.
I'm going to fuck with your car.
Don't do that.
Your company vehicle.
That is not my car.
You can drive the car that's got no plates in the parking lot out
there
here.
You go.
Yeah, my neighbors love to. They got a Walter White van back there. It's like a camper. It's held together by duct tape. I don't know whose it is, but I think there's someone living in there. Probably rent it out for a couple $1,000 in today's economy.
Party van.
You know, smoke some drugs
If
in
the
it.
van's a rocking.
Don't come a knocking.
Disco party going on.
Yeah. Oh man, but yeah. So I mean, kind of like touching base on Massachusetts again, because I kind of want to see what the scene is about. I did one open mic down in Boston with Kyle. That was fun. But so what's a good mic you think someone should hit if they're just starting out, if they're in that area?
I mean, there's so many.
There's a bunch.
I know somebody else was talking about Jacques. There's the bar with the gay guys. That's really fun. I know.
Yeah.
I haven't been to that personally, but I think the Quincy area is great. There's some in Hanover, on the South Shore. But if you actually want to go in the city, there's some in Somerville. There was an awesome one called Mooya, and we used to go downstairs in the basement. It was right across from the T station, and it would be like 20 college kids, and it was really fun. But then the place closed.
Yeah.
There's like the Red Dragon, so there's definitely a lot of places, in the city.
Nice. Rob, I'll have to check those out.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. Dude, I'd want to venture out to Mass. I think it's important to do comedy in like a little bit of everywhere, because then you get your name out there. You know what I mean? So.
We know what you mean. And next time,
Fuck.
next time,
We're gonna get a sip of beer every time he says,
I know,
you know what I
right?
mean?
I know, right? It's gonna be I know, right? Instead.
next time we're downtown,
right?
maybe we can just grab a hotel for a night and just hit like.
Two or
There wouldn't be
three
more.
mics.
Yeah, there'd be
Yeah.
more than one mic on one
yeah.
given night, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if there's a huge list, like sometimes, like as we know it, like Pub on Park or
Right.
whatever, if you have 30
my
or
God.
40 people and it goes till midnight and you're on the list, you're not going to make it across town to the other one. you
Yeah.
know?
And I feel like you might want to know somebody in a way to get your name on the list earlier, because maybe you can text somebody or what have you, because I know some mics are sign up, go up, and some are text ahead of time. Like we text Steve to get on the Blue Moon and Pub on Park and all that stuff. So I guess it depends on what their procedure's like, But I definitely think it'd be kind of cool. I feel like the idea of doing a mic in Boston's like, ooh, it's like kind of like got that big time nightlife vibe. It's like a little New York in a way. You know what I mean? I don't know. I could be wrong. But
No,
I don't
it
know.
is.
I've
Even
never
if you
seen
went
it.
to Capo is great too.
Yeah.
Will Noonan runs that mic, and he's a big Boston comedian, and it's in Southie, and it's definitely hard to park. But
Yeah.
if you can get on that mic, that's really fun. They have a great audience, and they have great food there, so
Yeah.
that's another mic to hit.
I think the play is just finding a way to take a train or something.
Do everything
take
at
the
once.
train.
Yeah.
Or
You
an
might have to
Uber
drive.
around.
Comedy
Yeah,
tour.
really.
Fuck, I'm not driving. I'm not driving to Southie.
Fuck it. Pub on Park sounds
I'll
better
drive
right
to
now.
Lansdowne. That's as far as I'm getting in
Pub
there.
on Park might be better.
Yeah. Pub
Yeah.
on Park is fun.
Definitely.
Have you been to Jake and Johnny's before?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I've hosted that too.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's a great spot too.
How was it hosting Jake and Johnny's?
It's actually really fun. It's what I like about hosting Jake and Johnny's is they have like they have a bar, and then all the comedians sit around it. But then you do get like a lot of live audience, and a lot of times the audience really plays up with the comics. And the last few times have been really fun. Like one night it was really pouring, and these people were like laughing, and it was like a party. We had a great time.
Yeah. I think, Rob, you host some pub, you host Jake and Johnny's? What are your hosting spots?
I
those
don't
ones.
remember. I have them on my calendar, but I don't remember. But I will be hosting Jake and Johnny's,
Yeah.
Blue Moon, and I think Pub.
Pub on Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So each once a month for each. So I got.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
what he has me for. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've never hosted
That's
Jake
great.
and Johnny's. I've only performed there once. Been there twice. So
Yeah.
I like
and
the
Johnny's
pizza
is
there,
fun.
man.
Oh my God, the best
Two
pizza in the world.
slices and a Coke for $8.
Seriously, you can't beat it.
Dude, that's cheap and it's awesome.
I know.
Yep.
It's like New York style pizza, really.
Yep.
Love it. I can't wait.
I want to order a pizza now.
I kind of want to go there just for a
Comedy.
pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah. I took I did one mic last week. I did the XO bar, but then I took some time off to focus on some other things I had going on. And it's like it just makes you realize like how much I miss doing it. Like I would love just telling jokes and eating some pizza sounds awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's great.
That's a fun night
Yeah,
out.
I think it's cool that like Ryan has a spot like that to do comedy. Jake and Jen's on Fed Hill. You got pizza. I like the little neon light. It sounds stupid. I like the little things like that. The little neon sign makes it feel like more of like a nightlife vibe.
It's
you
cool.
know?
Yes, it
I like
does.
It's a nice setup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then all the cars going up and down the main street and everything. You
Yeah.
feel like you're in the city.
This is cool, right? Like
yeah,
this is, you know,
this
it's
is
like,
for real.
you know,
It's only going to get better in the summer.
yeah.
Definitely.
You know, more pedestrians.
people.
Hopefully, more people poke their head in. You know.
Yeah. Well, I noticed with Jake and John, as you said, Maureen, like there's definitely brings in a crowd, and I've always, every time I've gone there, I've always gotten laughs, and it's always been like strangers from the street, which I think is really cool. Which I think is important for mics too. You know, me comment on it too. It's like kind of hard sometimes. You're just doing jokes in front of a bunch of comics. You know what I mean? Because everyone's there to do their set and go on to the next mic depending what night of the week it is. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. It kind of reminds me of Blue Moon. How there was like 30 teachers from a graduation that came, and they were all outside the area, and we were trying so hard to get their attention, they just wouldn't budge.
What on Blue Moon?
Like the outside, like you were saying, if you could perform for people outside, like at random, like if outside the club,
Yeah, but
that we had that opportunity, and they just they didn't ignore us. Like there was some participation, but it's hard to wrangle them in.
Are you talking about last week?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a sweet turnout, but yeah.
I like Blue Moon. It's got the outside seating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll have
Yeah, we
to-
know what you mean, and it's only going to get better when it gets warmer out too.
That's
The
right.
outside.
More people.
Maybe they'll bust out that stage for the bands and let us go on there.
Right.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
St. Mary's Feast, we should do live comedy, man.
You know,
That would be great.
it'd be cool. Start your own like little comedy group. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we know what you mean.
You know what you mean.
And I-
If you've been listening this long, I'm sorry.
You know how many times he said that tonight?
Yeah, I hope someone's keeping count. You know what? I hope someone's really watching this, and you can keep count and put it in the comment section. Please do that for me. I think that'd be
I
actually really
think
cool. To
that'd
see.
probably be Nick.
Take a sip every
Nick
time.
is definitely watching.
Cheers to
Nick
you,
Session,
buddy.
cheers.
Nick, he goes to
Encore.
Blue Moon,
Yep.
and he's so into it. And he loves it. I love it. So shout out to him. This is for you, buddy. If you're watching.
Cheers.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Yeah. So you've been to a couple places and doing comedy. Can you share? Do you any like? It might be on the spot, but you got any like crazy stories? Anything, funny or anything that you've seen that like just stuck with you doing comedy?
Yes, actually, when Lauren Sims was a girl that I took the class with in Boston, and we decided we were going to start going to Providence bars. So we
Yep.
roll up, and then we get to this open mic, and we go down this basement, and literally the microphone's here, and like the toilet's right there, and the door's open, and then all these boys are talking about how big their package are.
Oh my god!
And we were like, "Oh my god, we made it big! We're in the bottom of a basement of Providence,
Right.
watching these boys talk about how big their package is, and looking at a toilet. It's awesome." So I did my time. Like they say, you have to do your time. Probably 100 open mics at all these crazy bars. Another night. I've never seen this in my life because in Boston I think the liquor laws are a lot stricter, but there was like 10 or 15 girls and they were like doing all these pickle barrel shots and they were like, pickle! And we're like trying to do comedy. And I'm like, oh my God, they would never let them have that many shots. In Boston they'd probably be like only one each and they were like getting really roasted. It was really funny.
I'm assuming those boys weren't UPS drivers.
Nope. Nope, not if
Damn
you're
it.
not a hot UPS driver. No, just kidding.
Talk about big.
Every time the guy comes to deliver the package, it's like some boy talking about how we try to brush it up.
Oh my god, that's funny.
And also, like, you see people trying, like, you just watch people. It's so fun just to go and watch what other people are going to say. And sometimes you're like, oh my God, they just said that. And then you might
Yeah.
see, like,
I've had those moments.
yeah,
I've
you're
seen.
like, oh my God, we're going to get, like, arrested. What are these people saying this for? And then you wonder if, like, offending the whole crowd, you know?
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I've seen some people say some shit, and I'm like, oh my God, they just said that. But hey, I mean, comedy, you should, in a way, you should be able to say whatever you want, as long as it ain't like you're going to make people want to fight everybody, you know what I mean? Entice violence, but definitely,
Yeah.
there's some memorable moments I'm sure every comedian's had, you know what I mean? Rob, you have some crazy thing that you remember? Nothing. Nothing?
No, nothing crazy memorable.
Nothing. Maybe
You know
the hot.
what I mean?
I think. I don't know. Whenever I see Rob, I feel like you would say the hot dog thing.
What's the
Oh, I mean that's not crazy though.
But yeah, but it was just like something memorable.
There was a comic that threw a hot dog out in the audience and hit somebody.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows who he is. He's watching, I think.
Yeah, appreciate you too, man.
I know there's
He ain't
one
watching.
girl comedian that, like, takes, a plastic vibrator out of her like
Oh,
shirt
shit.
and starts rubbing it up
Whoa.
against the microphone. And
That's
the hell?
I'm
crazy.
like, what the hell?
Yeah, I thought my
I've
what,
seen it all now.
right. One time my lips touched the fucking mic on accident. I was shaking so much. I was like on my first sets. I was so nervous. I can't imagine putting a fucking vibrator up to the mic.
I remember
Oh my
like
God.
I was quiet one time, and I remember I don't know who told me this advice, but he said, "Oh, put it near your chin." I guess like this, so people can hear you. And when I did it, like my lip was on like this,
You're like-
and I'm like, oh yeah, guys, blah, blah. I'm talking, I get off the stage, I'm like,
You're lipping
I was like,
Oh my
fuck.
God.
I was like, fuck. It was like we're passing around like a joint or something. Oh,
You're
dude.
kissing the tip a little bit.
You know, it's like, oh,
yeah.
no, like, oh my god.
And then the guys that
You
hang.
freaking spit lipped it. It's like,
Yep.
oh, dude. But I didn't realize till after I said it, I'm like, oh my god, these people are going on the mic. They probably think I'm such a dick. Like, you know, doing all this.
Yeah. I gotta use it next.
I was scared. Okay.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think holding the mic in a way, like, I'm probably gonna sound like a bitch saying this, but it's kind of harder than you would think sometimes, depending on like how like nervous you are.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know what I
You
mean.
didn't say it.
Oh my
Anyway.
God. You know
And
what
always
I
put the
mean?
mic stand behind you. You know what I mean? Because you
Yes,
don't want.
yes.
Put it behind you because
That's
someone
what I
might scold you.
learned in the class.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that was the
Like,
first thing they taught us.
Grab that microphone and command this room and move that mic stand
Yep.
over.
Clear the stage.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
You're in charge.
Yep.
Don't put it too close to your face.
Stupid question. Are you like a mic off the stand kind of gal? Or are you like it on the stand? I forget. I think you're off the stand mostly.
I'm definitely off the stand.
I'm always off the stand,
Definitely,
but I
yes.
kind of like it on the stand. It's kind of nice.
It is kind of nice if you're going to tell a joke where you are going to be like animated and do something with your hands
Well,
or
I find
make a gesture.
Yeah, I found out, but I
Right?
use the mic a lot for like one joke. I do this, something's falling, or I use it in other ways. You know, just like
Yeah.
so. I couldn't do it, but I loved it when I did. When I didn't have those jokes, it was fun.
I
Sounded
want
good
to try
too.
that.
Clear. It's so freeing. You're just sitting there. You're like, you know.
I want to try that next. I want to try putting the mic in the stand and just talking into it.
Imagine if you're like Italian or Portuguese or something. You
Yeah,
know?
talking with your hands.
I was watching like some like old time show where they were like from New York and it was like a community audition show and this guy was really funny, but he kept taking the mic out and putting the mic back in and then doing all these like animated things, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy needs to take a mic.
Yeah.
That's, like, that's how you know if you're
Yeah.
if you're confident enough to hold that mic. That's like step one of comedy class 101. You know.
Fuck it. Just throw a headset on.
Yeah.
A headset.
Walk around like a telemarketer.
Yeah.
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 Betty online too.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool. I think it's cool, like when comedians like use like things on set. You know, like
Props.
yeah, props. You know what I mean? Have you ever used
I
a
like
prop
it.
before? Do you consider your hat a
I
prop?
did a hat. Yeah, I did the Kentucky
Yeah.
Derby hat. That was kind of crazy. I have a lot of costumes, so I do like that. I
Yeah.
think if it makes the bit, then why not?
And it's all about being creative. I think comedy's cool because in a way it's a form of expression, and like and it's cool because if you want to do something, just do it. You know what I mean? Like if you want to use a prop, like I have an idea for my helmet joke that I'm working on, and like I'm just gonna do it. You know what I mean? And everyone that I've met so far has been so supportive of comedy. I don't feel stupid doing it. Like I feel like worst case scenario, it's just gonna be so stupid, everyone's gonna laugh at it.
I mean, if you can get people to laugh using a prop, why wouldn't you? Whatever it takes. A lot of famous people, like
Oh,
look
yeah.
at Carrot Top. He makes everybody laugh because all of his
Carrot Top,
props,
yeah.
right?
He's kind of scary looking dude, honestly. He's just like, oh yeah.
He's got
Yeah, he
every-
kind of reminds me of like a roided out Tiny Tim. a
Yeah,
little bit.
or roided out fucking carrot, literally. You know what I mean?
Tiptoe, tulips. Yeah, remember that guy?
He was, yeah.
That guy did not give a fuck. The doctor's like, don't perform.
And he's
You've had
like,
2 heart attacks or whatever. He's like, nah, fuck it. And then he died having a heart attack on stage during that song, actually.
Wow.
It's fucking morbid.
I don't know how I know that, but I do.
I mean, the things you look at at
Trivia
2 a.m.
question.
in the morning, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we know what you mean. And
You know what you mean?
You know, Maureen's in it.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
He's
I'm
turned
say it all
around.
night. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yep, it's probably number 20, you know.
You have people telling you a story and they're
you
like,
tried
what,
so hard not to
I
say,
know,
you
like, you know,
what are you going to say instead of you know what I mean?
yeah, you know what I mean?
No,
It's like that meme with that kid with the fucking the vessels. He's like,
Yeah, he's like,
stick out his head.
well, it's been 5 minutes, you haven't said, you know what I mean yet?
Yeah, it's been 5 minutes. You didn't tell anyone you're a vegan yet.
It's been 5 minutes, you haven't told someone you're a comedian yet?
that almost looked like Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I would definitely be butthead, you know. But
Butt chin, dude.
you got a butt chin. That's why he grows a beard. He's got a
Yeah,
butt
you're
chin.
right though.
God.
He's got a butt chin. Dude.
I'm like what's the alternative, right? So women, it's like make sure before you date a girl you have her take a shower or like go swimming, you know,
Wow.
because they come out and like they have no makeup on. It's like
Or I was like, what?
but for men it's like have them shave their beard because they'd be hiding like no chin, you know what I mean? You see
Okay.
those?
All right.
Know what I'm saying? Know what I mean? See, now I'm saying
So
it.
it's
dude.
like men makeup.
Basically,
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
hiding.
I forget what they call it, but it's so freaking funny, the
behind
memes.
the beard.
Like, yeah.
The guy's like this. He's got like no chin. It's like back here. It's so weird.
Crazy. If Liz knew what you looked like without a beard, she'd probably divorce you.
Yeah, I don't. This is as short as it gets.
Yeah.
So
His wife's never seen him without a beard.
no, and I've had beards like out to.
Ugly butt chin.
I've had like a year
Like
before.
a ZZ Top beard.
Not that long now.
Imagine. I can picture the fucking.
Show you some
Yeah.
pictures. It's crazy.
You look like you would do a comedy in Boston with that hat on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, right. Fit in with the crowd. You know.
Yeah.
The guys I work with, they live in Boston. They say the same thing. Oh, we know where you're from. I'm like, yeah.
Rhode Island. Warwick.
Yeah, they think I'm from Boston. I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, it's cool that I'm thinking about like it's cool that you came on the show, Maureen, that you've done mass. I didn't even think of that. That like it's cool to have a different perspective. We had Barry Wilson on here that gave us a different perspective as well for comedy and mass. I think that's really important to get a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? Maybe one day we'll have someone that's from New York that does comedy. That'd be cool. So.
Yeah.
Actually, I would like to try a couple of open mics in New York, and someone invited me. I just didn't get down there. But
Yeah.
I think that would definitely be a different challenge. And I know that they have like a lot of people, and it's like hours, just like the
That's
pub
something.
on Park mics.
Wow.
you know.
Yeah.
So if you go to, like, I'm sure if you say you go to like an open mic in like somewhere in Boston, it's really popular, or New York, or wherever, like those big cities, it probably makes the open mics we do like feel like really easy, or like really like they go like quick. Imagine ones that just last for hours on end. There's like 40 people. You know what I mean? That could be a thing.
Well, actually, that
Yeah.
pub on Park, I've hosted it. It starts at 8:30. I've been there till 11:30, almost 12 o'clock. It
Yeah.
goes for hours. He's had 40 people in that room.
That's a very popular one.
They don't cap them off at 30 on
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I think he started when I first started working for them. I think
Yeah.
they started recently
Yeah.
capping.
And then honestly, maybe Steve's just like, freaking the guy does 3 a week.
Home at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
But it's fun.
Yeah, I wasn't there that late when I hosted Pub on Park last time.
yeah. That Pub at Park.
It was sweet. It's fun.
It's such a weird stage because it's very open, and then on open mic, I've said this before, it's like you got a couple people just hanging out at the bar. It's like that's a good place to like build up your courage, you know what I mean, and like build up like the, just doing a couple jokes. So let's be honest, there are a couple people that A, might not be paying attention, or B, you're just kind of like might not laugh. It's a good time to just be like, all right. It builds you thick skin. If you just go have a great set all the time, it's good, I feel like, to kind of get that instance where you're just like not hitting it, or people aren't laughing, just kind of like, it makes you stronger, That's my point. So
No, it's true.
Pub
Even
Park's
when
good for that.
you hosted, sometimes I feel like that place is so big and open, and then you might be doing your first 5 minutes for your own set, and then nobody's even laughing or looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
People are talking. You just have to keep going through it.
Yep.
And then just open up the next, bring up
Yeah.
the next comedian and keep it going. Just have that positive energy, keep it going.
And I think Rob was like, I remember Rob, you were telling me, ever since I've been doing comedy, he like did this big business meeting. He like crushed it. He's like, it's because like it's a like public speaking type of thing.
I was so nervous, but I had a room of maybe 15 to 20 people, and yeah, I presented, but that was weird. It's like I felt like I could just do it, like talk in front of people.
Yeah.
That was weird. It's like picture working out with a 100-pound weight for like a month, and then a month later you go to the gym and you pick up a 10-pound weight. Just like, oh, this is so much easier. Like I did the reps already. This is nice, even though it's not the same thing. But
Mental stand-up.
and I feel like you're just quicker on your feet if you mess up in a business meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Yeah.
builds up the confidence so that when you do have a business meeting, that's kind of what was happening to me for my regular full-time job before COVID. I was like doing the comedy, and I was introducing doctors on a trade show floor, and I used to be so scared. And now that after you do comedy and you introduce enough people, you're like, I'm not afraid to do this, and just go up, and it's definitely a great ego booster. Definitely give you more confidence on stage or public speaking.
Yeah.
Even just talking to strangers. So I have to do a lot. So everyone knows this, but I say it on the podcast, I'm in sales, and shit, what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna
When
say.
you meet
But
someone new,
being on the what am I trying to say? But like, yeah, you said in the meeting was easier. I was reading somewhere that in some sales books they were like, you should do stand up comedy and you should do improv.
Yeah.
Like
definitely.
even if you don't take it as a career, like do improv like once a month, because if you do improv, then you might train your brain to be quicker on your feet to whatever the customer might like hand you. Or
Yeah.
it's a great point.
I read that in a sales book, and that's not what I just read that recently, like a couple weeks ago. I started reading sales books, but that's not what brought me into it to begin with, to be a public speaker. But it's just one of those offshoots. It's just one of those happy byproducts that came out of it.
Yeah, it definitely. I think it helps you. Definitely helps your public speaking and just like having confidence and not being afraid of like approaching a crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
comedy's one of those things.
I'm gonna do that on Friday, man.
What?
I'm nervous as shit. I gotta approach. I got like a crowd of people that are gonna be asking, me questions and shit. But
Yeah.
guaranteed when I get there, I'm like, okay, this is basically just an open mic. I'm just gonna squint my eyes
Yeah.
instead of imagining
Hope for
they're in
the
the
best.
underwear. I'm gonna be like, okay, there's Danuccio. Okay, there's
Yeah.
Parada. There's Maureen. Okay, I'm safe. And then just go for it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I was gonna say, you may. No, I think with it definitely helps with like me and me too. Anyway, Maureen, do you? Because I work at a law firm. You say you work in an office. Did I remember? Do you say you work somewhere like that too?
Yes.
Yeah. So me and you, it may. I don't know.
Law firm in Boston. Yeah.
Yeah, so I deal. I don't know if yours is probably a little bit different. I don't know, but I work with a lot of clients, and sometimes I get nervous. But at the same time, I'm like, hey, if I do comedy, I could do this. You know what I mean? And I think comedy is one of those things. Like, did you ever see yourself doing it, Maureen? Did you ever like sometimes to be like, wow, like I never thought I would do comedy, or like have the courage to do it, something? Because that's me. I'm like, I'm up there and I'm like, holy crap, I freaking awkward and quiet sometimes. I'm over here just telling jokes for a bunch of people. I never thought I'd ever do that.
Definitely. I mean, I remember when I was younger, like if you had to go up and do like some big report in front of the whole class, and your heart would be like boom, 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 boom. You're like, I'm gonna pass out. My face is gonna turn red. I'm scared to say anything, but I think comedy makes you. It's definitely. Tony V used to say it's the crazy people that want to get up here and do this. Like he's like, you have to be crazy to do this because nobody else would want to stand up here and like have everybody look at them, and you have to be on the spot and have everybody looking at you. Everybody's watching everything you do, and it's definitely a challenge. But I actually like that. I think that's thrilling.
Yeah.
But I never thought that I would be trying it. I'm like years ago, I was like, I'm just gonna give it a shot. I never thought I'd be like hosting an open mic, and I got to be on some shows. I got paid to be on a show. I'm like, wow, this is
cool.
exciting. It's fun, and you meet a lot of fun people, and it boosts your ego. It's definitely been an adventure, and it's fun. Like, if anything, it takes you away from your business job, your desk.
Right.
It's like I think I have too much personality to be sitting behind a desk every day. So I'm like, when I get to do comedy, I'm like, I can talk
awesome.
like a crazy and say anything I want.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. That's great. I love that's a great point you make.
Yeah.
I feel the same way sometimes. I take off the.
Such an outlet.
Yeah, it's like you're professional all day. You're doing your job. It's fine. And then when you're at the open mic, talk about boobs, penis, fucking poop, whatever. You know what I mean?
You ever get scared that one day you're gonna get pulled into the HR department? Like, you think this will bleed into your real life?
I mean,
Like, I'm scared. Like one day, like I saw
Your boss is gonna watch this.
yeah.
My boss
Mike,
is
if
cool
you're
as
watching
shit, so he doesn't give. He's cool as shit. He don't care. But I mean, like, enough where a customer or something, or maybe a client would be pissed. But I don't think so. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, shit might happen. But then I war game it, because if that did happen, then I got better things to worry about, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think they would get rid of anybody for that unless you were saying something bad about the company.
Right, which
Yeah.
I
But I
don't. I don't wear any company logos. I don't say what I do. Like,
'cause you're
whatever.
technically
Well, I say what I
promoting.
do, but I don't say where I work. Everything.
But I think if you, I think like there's like a fine line, like, because imagine, like, I can't even imagine, and I'm sure you can relate being in a law firm, if like one of the partners or someone said, oh, do you want to do comedy for our firm?
Yep.
And I'd be like, no way. Just because,
Listen,
not that I'm afraid,
waiting.
but
I'm waiting for a
ask
corporate
you.
event.
Yeah,
I'll
I mean,
do
a
it.
corporate event, but not where you work. Could you do a corporate
Oh, I would do it where I work.
I so when I first started doing comedy, everyone at work was like, "Oh my God, Roy's doing comedy," and they asked me to do a stand-up special for the for the Christmas party. So we had it at this restaurant over in Cranston, and pretty much they wanted me to roast everybody because people saw Brad Pierce, who's a pretty good crowd work comedian. Dude's hilarious. We saw him on the comedy bus. We're like, Roy, you need to do that. Can you roast us when it comes to the Christmas party? And I'm like, well, I was still new. I am still new now, but like I was just only a couple months in, and I'm like, well, I do a lot of clean comedy, but I'll do what I can. I don't want to roast anybody. Like I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. You know what I mean? Whatever. So you know what? Fuck it. So I pretty much took everyone's name and I just wrote down a bunch of funny things for them. We had some new people that I didn't really go after because I just knew them for like a week, but I wrote up a good like 20-minute set. And yeah, I did it in front of my boss, Mike, and I even roasted him briefly, and that was. To say I roasted my boss at a Christmas party was hilarious. It was like the highlight of my comedy career. And just like, you know, for instance, I'll give an idea of a joke. We have this Spanish guy that works for us, and he's darker skinned, but he's got a very white personality. So I called him a coconut. I said, you're brown on the outside, white on the inside. And dude, my coworkers, Rob, you know what I'm talking about, like my buddy Tyler and this other kid, Matt. My buddy Tyler that I work with does comedy with us sometimes. They're all sitting against the wall, and dude, they are fucking laughing so hard they could barely stand there, dying laughing. Mike, my boss, is laughing. Oh, I got HR laughing, bookkeeping, and we're all pretty good tight-knit people. But my favorite part that I'll never forget was the guy that worked at the restaurant was like, and he was in the other room that was like divided by like the curtain, and he was even laughing. And he's like, man, you are fucking funny, bro, this and that. So my name's Matt Roy. If you like what I do, like come out and see me sometime. And highlight of my thing, and to this day, I'll never forget it. And it was just, you know, I'll go on about it forever. It was a lot of fun, and you know, I didn't say anything bad about the firm. You know what I mean? Like and it was all in good fun. You know, and I have a joke right now where I joke about, oh, what do you think I do for work? I work for a law. I work for the heavy hitter. I work for the other guy that exploits your injuries. But like, I think I'm teetering on like that. Like, you know, maybe I might get in trouble for saying that. Like my boss would be like, oh, you think we just exploit people's injuries? Like, no, it's just part of the joke. Because people think, you play into it. People think, because you work for a personal injury lawyer, you know, you exploit people. There's people out there like, oh, my neck and back hurt. There's people actually, you know, we represent people whose family have deceased, unfortunately, or people that are suffering from nursing home negligence, and we step in. But yeah, it's just, I made a joke out of it, out of what people's perception is of personal injury. So yeah, that's my tangent. You know?
Call 1-800-HEAVY-HITTER for you.
Yep, and that's not who I work for, by the way. Rob Levine, no. I work for the other guy. You do the math, okay? But yeah, Rob's waiting for his opportunity to roast or do some comedy at the firm, at the work event, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you would do it.
I wouldn't do a roast, but I would do a clean set for
a clean set
10 minutes before dinner or something. You know, that'd be fun.
So about those switchgear quotes I have, huh? Yeah.
I have to bleep that out now. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Oh, sorry. Scratch that. But
that's okay. I listened to the whole thing. So.
He's gonna put your first bleep in there.
There you go. I bleeped the other shit the other night.
Yeah.
Did I bleep Dirty Grandpa?
Dirty Grandpa is completely unedited.
Oh my God, Dirty Grandpa.
He is funny. He is
his own show.
He's a sick man.
He's awesome.
That's why we got rid of the couch. It was so dirty after him. I had to get rid of it.
I don't think he'd be opposed if we went to his house with the mobile. We got a mobile setup and just filmed his house. We'll have it once a week.
Oh my God.
That would be awesome.
On the rocker with Dirty Grandpa.
Yeah.
Or something stupid.
Have like a Raz with Dirty Grandpa.
Right.
Oh my God. And he could just sit there in his recliner, just like in his whitey tighties.
Being dirty.
just being dirty. No, it's stupid.
Oh my God, that's great. Dirty Grandpa, we appreciate you. I know you're watching this, so.
Yeah.
He watches everyone. I appreciate that.
That's nice.
And I wanted to kind of, before I, forget and we end it I don't want to end it without asking you. Well, actually, I want to share this too. I thought it was funny. Let's go back to the whole open mic thing. Jake and Johnny's, Rob, I think you were there. We were watching. I think John Rollins got up there and was doing his set, and some guy. There's cars that Maureen, they park in front of the window. Yeah. Some guy backed into this dude's car, slammed right into it, hit it, and just drove off. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Oh my God! Was the guy just hit that fucking guy's car and drove off?" In front of John Rollins' set. He's like, "I just got fucking heckled by a car accident." And I thought that shit was the funniest thing ever. I just want to put that out there. It was very funny. Jake and Johnny's is eventful.
Definitely
eventful, but yeah. So, what's your writing style like, and what is comedy to you? if you're willing to share the whole comedy. I know.
All right. My writing style, I'm
like-
still learning all the
Yeah.
time. I mean, I think I try to pick on myself, but I also try to think of like life things that happen to me and try to work it into my set. Or if I see something funny like that day, I like to, like mix it up. I think sometimes having the same thing over and over gets kind of boring.
Yeah.
And maybe bring like current events or talk about something that's going on and make a joke about it.
Yeah.
And what is comedy to me? I would say I love laughter and making other people laugh. It's so fun because life can be so serious and work can be so boring, and you just want to make people have fun. And like, I just love watching some of my favorite comedians, even in movies, and you're like, oh my God, like I remember, like the guy Ken John from The Hangover, how crazy he is, and he's like, motherfucker, and he runs around.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
like, he's so funny. And like, I just love how funny and animated they are. And that makes me want to do comedy. I'm like, I wish I could be like one of these people. Like, it's so fun. It's like, so it looks like such a fun job. And, you have to have a good personality. But I think comedy is just like, making people have fun. That's what comedy should be about. And also, like, cheering other comedians on and, like, making it like a team, not being like, I'm against you, like, it's good to help other people. Like, if I see somebody go up there and crush it, I'll go up to them and be like, wow, you did an awesome set tonight. Just, it's good inspiration.
Yeah.
And it feels good if someone does that to you.
Exactly. Yep.
We're team players here.
Yep.
Yeah,
we love
exactly.
friggin' supporting everybody.
Yeah.
I love it. You know what I mean? It's a positive experience.
Definitely.
Being kind is free. You know what I mean? In this shitty world we live in, fuck it. Dude, let's be honest. Look at the news. You're like, wow, this world fucking sucks. You know what I mean? But then you go to an open mic and you're like, hey, what's going on, Jimmy? What's going on, Maureen? Hey, Rob, this, that.
Yeah.
Good time. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about.
We also, something else I would like to personally maybe get into is like running my own shows.
That'd be
Because I
cool.
feel like, like getting a venue, booking it, and then having them, picking out what comics are going to be on the show. I think there's so many aspects of the business. Like, even if you just start out doing the open mics, but then you get to host, but you could also find a venue and run your own show, So I think...
And you can always be the headliner.
I could, and you make
that's
yourself
right. You can be the headliner,
And
you're
not.
that person
whatever
too. You know,
That's
it's like
true.
it's
You
a
can
good
do whatever
idea.
you want. You can be the host or you can be the headliner. That's right.
yeah.
Well, you let us know. We'll be there.
All right.
Yep. That's
You guys can be on the show.
try to support everyone when we can. It's now that we starting to get to know more people and there's some new mics popping up. The Wait and See, their open mic is one Tuesday a month, and that one's a new one. Maureen, if I don't know if you heard of that one yet, but it's
Is
a
that
new.
in New Bedford?
Yeah, I think
Fall
it's a
River.
New Bedford.
Yeah, Fall River. Yeah.
Yeah, so they do that the first Tuesday or the second Tuesday every month. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but it's a good it's a good open mic. I've seen the post. I haven't been to it yet. That's our next goal.
Well,
But,
speaking of Tuesdays, are you going to that tomorrow?
I might. Is it
Tony Max.
You saw it
Max?
advertised?
yeah, at the Myrtle.
Oh yeah,
Myrtle.
Tony Max. I love
Show up,
Tony
go up,
Max.
baby.
He's
No,
great.
Rob, we'll have to do an episode because I think we got next week free. We don't have a guest on spot, so maybe we can
Yeah, we don't,
touch
sadly.
base on that and go over
Tony
everything. You know what I
Max.
mean?
We should.
Yeah, get him on. Talk about the Myrtle.
Hey,
episode.
man, these are mobile mics, dude. We should take some...
Yeah.
Just take the camera in these
Rob
and...
and Matt on the
We should do
road.
on the street. We should do street interviews
Dude,
tomorrow.
Tony, can you tell me how
That'd be
Mike's
awesome.
going?
Yeah.
That's
It's going great, man. Yeah. Dude,
his
Tony's got
voice
the
is
announcer
awesome.
voice.
We're fucking hyped over here.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, definitely, I agree with you, Maureen. Definitely, comedy's definitely an outlet for sure. You know, it's an outlet for me, and I'm sure it's an outlet for Rob. It's a good time just to get out and hang out with people and tell some jokes. Like I said, we're getting to know a lot of people. It's hard to. We're trying to support everybody. It's getting like we're so busy doing all that stuff too, and you know what I mean. But we're always happy to help out and support. We appreciate you coming down, hanging out with us, supporting our open mic and all that. But is there any, talking about, supporting people, is there any plugs or any shows, or anybody you want to give a shout out to, anything like that you want to plug out there in the open for our listeners, and anybody you want to share it with?
I definitely want to thank John Prada and Steve DiNuccio for all the opportunity they've given me for like hosting and being a part of their shows. Also, Paul Santos show. I really appreciate Paul Santos because, he gives me spots on the show once in a while, and I bring on my fun costumes.
Yeah, I want to see that. I'm looking forward to
You give him that steam heat.
Yeah, well, I had like
I love that joke.
iguana one. We also had I had a gypsy outfit, so I don't know what we're going to do next, but we definitely should have a monster mash with him. He's so fun.
Let us know when you do it because I'll watch it. We were tuning in for Kyle's, and I want to see that.
Oh, yeah.
You've been talking about these costumes. I haven't seen one yet. I've seen the hat. I'm curious.
It's fun. Paul's great. He always brings on so many different people, and
Awesome.
so talented.
Yeah, sounds like a great spot to be on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, guys, check out Maureen McCarthy on Facebook, and she's on Instagram as well. And she goes to the Blue Moon Pub. She does You Do Park as well, Jake and Johnny's. Check out her page. If she's got any shows, she'll announce them there. But I do, again, we appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us. You coming out on a Monday night. It's a weird schedule we do. We do it late at night, 8:45 or so. So we appreciate you coming down.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Of course.
Thank
Early
you.
today, so that was good. Yeah, thanks.
A lot of fun. First female comic. First time
Not
on
the
the
last.
couches.
Yay.
Yes.
On the green couch.
Yep.
Brand,
Exactly.
These are nice. It's way better than
These are
that
fuzzy.
one setup.
Right, dude. These things, I built these things. I was getting this room ready for you guys. I was like, I had a couch in here. I freaking broke that thing down. I kicked the legs off. It was a big mess. I'm doing these, I'm helping my wife with dinner, all this stuff, and it all came together. So hope you guys like it. More things to come. This room's gonna, we're gonna get something, replace that soon, and
You got a disco ball.
Getting a
hell yeah, we do
back
a
here.
disco ball.
The lav
You got a
mics.
chandelier.
Yep.
These gonna be gone. No more whimsical
Toothbrush.
Makeup.
mic.
Yeah, everyone
holders.
says, "Oh, look at this!" Like, yep.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a good time.
Yep. We're looking forward to it, so stay tuned for the next one. All right?
Yeah.
All right. Adios.
Yeah.